often does worrying detract from our day? It's really important we learn some of the techniques to stop worrying. And I know you might go, well, my life's really stressful at the moment. I get that. But when did worrying help? Now, I know that's not a technique, but it is something we need to think about. I say these things because I have been such a worry in my past. I mean, certainly when I was younger, sort of late teens, early 20s, I used to worry about everything. I would lie awake at night worrying about stuff. And it was really important for me to learn how to train my brain. Now, this is the point. There isn't one magical elixir on this one. There is only this idea that we have to train our brain to stop worrying. So step one, first of all, we have to realize that there's controllables in life and uncontrollables. And I've spoken about this in other videos. So the first step is, how controllable is it versus how uncontrollable is it? I noticed that I get really stressed when I'm going to get on a plane. I'm not frightened of flying particularly, but for some reason I get a little bit stressed. Once I get on the plane, once I've made that choice to be on the plane and we've taken off, I stop being worried. And I realize it's because I suddenly realize there's nothing I can do about it. I'm on the plane now. I've made the decision. So before I get on the plane, there's that choice. I could potentially not get on the plane and, oh no, I've got a decision to make. So maybe there's something in that with regard to controllable and uncontrollable. The next point is about suddenly noticing that you're worrying. So there are a couple of techniques we can do here that we have to get used to. A simple one is to have a worry list, write our worries down. It kind of gets it out of our head. We put it on a list and it's there. I realize it's there in black and white, but also it means we have to make it make sense in order to write it, because sometimes worrying is almost just an emotion. So writing it down can help. This, of course, can help in the middle of the night. I know you may not want to put a light on if there's somebody with you, a partner with you, but writing things down can help. That's our first point, okay? The next point about worrying is learn to have an attitude that's more of gratitude. I think it was Oprah Winfrey coined this phrase, have an attitude of gratitude. And I know this isn't about getting rid of worrying, but it is about training the brain to see the positives, to actually think about all the good stuff in our lives. And I hope this isn't coming to you at a time when everything seems to be falling apart. But the truth of the matter can be that we have those times in lives where it feels like everything's falling apart. And then we have other times in lives where it feels like everything's going really, really well. And it's getting used to the fact that sometimes it feels like that. It's not necessarily true, but sometimes it feels like that. The next point is that we need to understand that we are stronger than we think we are. And a lot of the stuff that happens to us, we will handle it. We will get over it. And the sooner we can get into that mindset, the better. Admittedly, there is sometimes an amount of time we need to give ourselves, especially if it's a big deal. Okay, if it's a big deal, we need to give ourselves some time and know that we will learn to feel better, or we will be able to move forward at some point, and maybe give ourselves a set period of time. If we're worrying about small stuff, only give yourself a small amount of time, 5 minutes, quarter of an hour in a day. If it's big stuff, you may give yourself a few days, or really big stuff, a week or two, but know that things will get better and this too shall pass, provided we have that mindset, okay? It's really important to know that. Know that you are better than this. The next step is to actually start doing something else. If we're worrying about something, we need to distract ourselves for a little while, change the chemicals in our body. We're going to be in a much better position to get rid of that worry or to handle that issue that's bothering us when we've changed the chemicals in our body. So we have to spend some time doing something good and then come back to it. Now, those are just a few different techniques for getting rid of worry. But remember, it's about training our brain. So we have to do these things regularly to build our mental strength about worry. I promise you that if you do these things regularly, the brain learns to do it more often and stops us ruminating and worrying quite so often. We've got to change our chemical balance and just change the way we're wired. And it really is about that. Know that these things are soft wired into us, not hardwired. You've just got to keep going. Just keep doing it and it will get better. I promise.